Today we're going to make an ability window where we can pull abilities from the window down to our bar. We'll start by opening the client-side DOM. Here we're going to make a class called bAbilityWindow. It's going to be the window for the abilities. It's going to be archetype GUI control. And we're going to add a parent class of bWindow to it. It will have no fields in it. Next, we're going to make some fields for a class which will save our data for us. We're going to make b position x, which will be the position x of the texture. b position y will be the position y. These are both integer types. We will also have b size x, which is the size of the GUI coming in, a little square, both integers, x and y. We will have b texture, which will have the actual string value of what the texture is to be used. Then we will copy each one of these to the server, the texture, two sizes, and the two positions. Next, we're going to make a class bAbilityInfo. This will be the info for each ability and be able to save it on the server. Before we add anything to it, we're going to copy it to the server. It is an archetype data. We will add the field we created plus a few extra to it. We're going to add AB script name, both positions x and y, both sizes x and y, and our texture. Those will be for the actual GUI that is being displayed. Then we will add for the window itself. This will be win position x, win position y, size x and y also. Then we're going to add a field called display name, so that we can save these values on the server in a class. Okay, then we'll go to the server side. We'll close it down for now. And we'll grab our server side DOM. Our bAbilityInfo should be copied here from the client side. The field should be also copied in. And we're going to add in our fields to the server side. The AB script name, position x and y, size x and y, and our texture. Then the ones we had before, win position x and y, win size x and y, and display name. Next, we will make a field so that we can hold the class, a list of classes. One for each space within our ability bar will be a separate class, and it will be in a list, and we're going to add that to the character. So we'll make a field, bAbilityBarInfo. This will be the data for each slot, and it will be a list of class bAbilityInfo. And once we have that made, we're going to go to the classes, type in player character. Here we will add our bAbilityBarInfo to the server side character so that it can save. Okay, then we'll close the server DOM. We will open a script on the server side of the player character. Here we're going to, the load and save section, we're going to create a untrusted function called saveAbilityInfo. This will have barInfo as a list of class bAbilityInfo coming in. It will have our account, player account remote, up the above, say window function. And here with the char, we're going to put our new field, B ability bar info, and that's going to equal our bar info that comes in the list. We'll be making this one a little bit later, so we can compile and submit this one now. Okay, let's go to the client side DOM, and the class we're going to look for is a B ability. Here we're going to create a script, B ability. So we click open script and it will have a make new. We're going to make an empty one. And then we're going to add some functions and methods to it. First method we will have is grab ability. This will be the calling the ability window here. And we'll have variable icon equals the ability class. This script, which will be in a function down here, get ability class, and this will be as a node ref of class ability. So it will point to this script, and it will return a find control GUI control by name, none cinematics, which will be our special one, so that it's on top of our game layer pieces, so that we can see it moving around, and then be ability. Okay, this method will come in and we will get a variable mouse. That was called get mouse position. We're going to use that for moving that around. Okay, check if icon does not equal none. We're going to remove the old icon and create a new one so that we don't have a whole bunch of little icons. Okay, it's going to create a node from prototype, the ability. Icon build be set to true. We're going to set the icon position X with the mouse X and the position Y with the mouse Y. Then we set our icon layer to cinematics. Okay, we have move me, call it another method, move icon data. We'll send in icon and me. We're going to set that into the mouse. Then we call a drag and drop script function, start dragging the icon. Next we will have another method called swap icon. Here we're going to exchange the held icon for the current one in place. So we swap both back and forth. This will come in with a target that references our node ref of the ability. And here we'll start with move icon equals get the ability class, and if it does move icon does not equal none, we're going to set up a temp value. It's going to be a node ref class B ability. It's going to create a node from prototype B ability, similar to this one up here, and then we'll run through our functions which swap it out. We'll call the method move icon data temp target, and that will put the target value into the temp. So we're going to save that. Then we're going to have me move icon data target move icon. We're going to put the move icon where the target was, and then we're going to move the icon data once more to set our temp value into the move icon. Next we have our move icon data, all the information that needs to go from one to the other to make it work. There'll be a method, move icon data, that's going to have a new icon, and it's going to use the old icon. The new one will reference the node ref B ability. The reference means its values are going to change, and old icon will be as. So it's just coming in, it's not going to change values, it's going to be the one we look at. So first we'll have the new icon AB script name equals the old icon AB script name. And we'll just save everything from here to there. Next one would be the display name, then the texture, then our size. This will have both X and Y. If we don't include the X's and Y, it'll take the whole thing. default presentation. It'll grab all the values, the color, the position, and the size for that, and it'll send everything over as long as we don't define them afterwards. And the same for the hover. All of those values will just copy right over to our new icon. Next, we just have our definitions, the ability class, and our get slots. That's going to be a node reference GUI control, and it's going to point at our slot holder where our slots are going to be contained. Okay, that's our ability script. We can compile and save that. Next, we're going to go for the ability slot. We're going to do the same thing with the open script and create a new one. And we will start with an empty script. We're going to add one method and two functions in this one. Here, we're going to have method put ability here. This will put it into this slot. So we'll start with slot, and that will be defined as get slot with the name of this current ability, or the slot name. Icon, get ability class, that will set the ability on the cinematics one, as we're going to point at this one. The slot will come in with a name, and that will tell us which slot offset from that slot holder. If the icon does not equal none, we're going to create a new ability, and this will create from the prototype the ability. Build is going to be true. Our name we're going to change to be ability, removing the B and the underscore. The new icon we're going to call move icon data from this other script, and we'll send our values of new icon and our icon to come into that script. Then we will add front our created icon to the children of this script, the ability slot that's in the little GUI. Okay, then we can compile and submit this script. Okay, next we're going to create a B ability window, and we're going to click open script so that it creates a new one. We're going to make it an empty script to start. We'll be adding some functions and methods to it. First one will be similar to the other ones. I have a shared function start. It will get the win from the ability win class. Win does not equal none, destroy the old one. Create a new from prototype, B ability window. Build is set to true, and we will call our function GUI window loc with the ability win value. Next, we'll have a public function toggle this ability window, and we will start with the window get win class. Doesn't equal none, destroy it, else we're going to start it up. Next, we go to our mouse section, and it has a mouse click, target as node reference GUI control. This will equal the args that comes in as a source. And if args right button, this is going to use the right button in order to click on it on the little ability window. And if the target is kind of a B ability, we're going to use that target and grab the ability. The target says as a B ability, we can use this node calling a method from the B ability class methods. Next, we'll have our window loc, similar to the other ones. The on mouse drag function will save our window when it moves. And we're going to name it as a string. The B ability one, same as the one up here. Gets the char pointer. Create the B window. Info class. We're going to set the name in. We're going to round our target position. Set it into win position X. And X, Y position into win position Y. Now we'll have the info B window toggle equals true for our first time that we have that window on screen. And from there on, we don't need this, so we can comment it out after we've used it. Then we'll have our window info name. We set the info in. Then we'll take this value and save it to our window info on the server. In our ability win class, node ref of the ability window, we'll find the GUI control, game, ability window. Okay, it's not too long. We should be able to compile and submit this script. Next, we're going to modify an old script, the ability bar. We're going to open this one. This one will all be here. We're going to modify a few things in it. Okay, that load function that we made is, we're going to call server ePlayer character load ability bar info, and for right now we're going to comment that one out until we make that one in here, which calls back to the same script, so it will be conflicting on the build. So we're going to comment it out here for now until we make it. Okay, a little further down, under the find ability function, we're going to create a method. This is going to save our ability bar. We're going to use the Windows get slots function, and we're going to make the ability as node ref of B ability, and our bar info as a list of class B ability info. That's where we're going to save our list for each ability that we have. For each slot win children, we'll set the ability equal to find control slot, coming from our slot value here, and looking for abilities, that name that we changed. Next, we'll have an info class as B ability info, and it will start empty for each time we put it there. If we were to take this and initialize it above it, it would not be empty every time it was needed inside the slot here for each slot. So we put it inside and it initializes it to empty. Now, if our ability that we found looked for up here does not equal none, we're going to set the values. The AB script name will come from ability AB script name. Then our info B position X will come from round ability default presentation position X. Same for the Y, position Y equals round ability. Now the rounds are on here because these values on the right side are floats. We're going to turn them into integers. So we're just going to round them off. And we'll have the sizes that we added in, size X and Y. These will be from the default presentation, size X and Y. The win position is the actual little ability square rather than the graphics pointer. And that will be the ability position X. And we're going to round that the ability position Y. And the win size X and Y will be the ability size X and Y. This value right here, I believe, is 36. And this size up here is our picture within the little texture format. And it is size 96. So it's going to display on screen at size 36, and it's going to use a texture size 96. That's the reason for the different ones here. This will be our texture, and it will come from the ability texture as a string. This is the little value we put in there that says which texture we want to use from that big list. And our display name that we have will go into there to save. Now once we created that, we're going to add back the info to bar info. We're going to save the current value. What this is doing is looking at the ability bar, and it's checking through every slot. Now, not every slot will have an ability in it, and this will initialize it to empty. So we're going to if we don't have an ability, it's going to set an empty values into the bar info, into our list. If it does have values, it's going to fill those values and still stick it in there. So the list is going to be as many slots wide as our bar, which is 12. Then we'll call the server ePlayer characters save ability bar info is our value. And that we should be able to, that's already in that script, so we'll be able to compile this before we add that other one. Next, we're going to have a remote function which will set our values that were saved, called from the server, into our bar. This will set all the values in there. And this is where when it's called after the server loads the values, we'll be able to use this one after we save it correctly, so that we can set the values up. And we'll see all the little abilities pop up. Here we'll start with win get slots. This is our pointer. And the ability is a node ref ability. Our I will start as an integer of 1 because we're going to go through a loop. Our loop will start with ability equals get control, the slot ability, the same pointer. If our ability is not equal none, so we get something in there currently, we're going to remove that, destroy that node, and we're going to check the bar info I, the value coming in, check the display name if it doesn't equal anything. If it's initialized to 0, we're going to skip out, we're going to go to the next one, so we'll add to the next bar. If it does equal a value, it's going to create. So you take the ability, we're going to create a node, the ability, we're going to set the name to ability, display name will come in from the bar info sub I, display name, and the I is going to determine which in our list that's coming in. This would be 1 to 12. Our ability is what's going to be created, and we'll set the AB script name, position X from the win position X, position Y from win position Y, size X from the win size X, size Y. Our texture will be from the texture. Our ability default presentation position X will be set up with our bar info B position X. This is a little graphics picture. We're telling it what position offset in inside our big GUI that we have, or our texture file. We'll also set the size that we've saved from the other value, B size. Then we will add the front ability to the slot children. If we were to add it to the back, it would be on top of our shutter and the number that tells you what slot it is. So we're going to add it to the front, and it will have the other two values, the other two GUIs on top. Then we'll increment our counter, and that will be our loop. Next, we'll have a mouse interaction that we're going to modify here. We're going to set our target's left ability. We're going to add if arg's left button. So we're going to check the left button now to click that command to happen. And then we're going to set up our arg's right button, whereas we're going to move stuff around. Now, where the target is ability slot, we're going to say, okay, we're going to put something in this slot. And then we're going to call the save. So we're going to save that value to the server. If the target is, however, an ability, we just check the icon, get ability class. Now, if the icon is not equal none, we're going to swap the two back and forth. If the target does, if the icon does not have anything, it equals none, then we're just going to grab what's currently there in the bar. and we're going to remove it from the bar. So we're going to destroy what's at the bar. After one of these will happen, either the swap or the grab, we're then going to save that ability to server. And our window logo should be already there. Here we're going to add function ability class as a B ability, and the cinematics ability, and our get slots function. The GUI control is going to point to our slots. Find control by name, ability bar, slot holder. And we should be able to compile and submit that script. Okay, next we can go back to our player character after we just submitted that one. We will now create the untrusted function load ability bar info. And we'll pull the same two lines from above, player account to player character. And this time we'll go bar variable bar info equals char ability bar info, the same field we saved it there. And we'll call the client account, tells us which client. And we're going to go B ability bar class methods, set ability bar ability info based on our bar info. The value that's been saved, so we're going to load it back. Then we can compile and submit this script again. Next, we'll go to our B ability bar info, ability bar class, and we will add this line, or shall we say, uncommented, and then compile and submit, and that way our calls are back and forth between those two scripts. Okay, next we're going to create the GUI for the B ability window, so we'll copy that and close that. We're good with this, so we can close that. And we'll go to the GUI editor. Now here we're going to create our B ability window. We will inherit from B window, and that's our class B ability window. We'll click OK, and that will create our GUI, which will be just a window. And then we're going to add the slot holder, very similar to the ability bar. This slot holder, okay, start with the window. That's going to have a size 200 by 150. I'm going to set ignore mouse events to false so we can move it around. That should be set. Yep, should be set. Next, we'll come down to the slot holder, and this is just a panel similar to the other ones, the bar. We'll add in select the main, go to the GUI panel, and type in panel here, and double click a panel to add a panel in here. Change the name to slot holder, size 200 by 150. Okay, and this one is transparent, the default state. Inside the slot holder, it'll look similar to the bar, but it's going to be a little bit different. Here, each slot is just a panel. We don't need the shutter or the number on the ability window. So we're just going to add in a panel. For a quick way to do that, we'll click on the slot holder, and then we'll click on the ability slot. Here, we'll grab the texture, copy, paste that into our panel. Here, we're going to grab just that. We'll set our size 40/40, and our position on the first one is 20/20. Then we'll also be able to grab the ability slot. Go down to the default and copy paste our position and size into our panel position and size. That's a quick way to do that. Once we have that into our first slot, we can remove the ability slot and then take that and copy paste it and then make the 6 slots. Now for each slot we're going to change basically the position here. So the second slot will be 80-20. Third slot will be 140-20 across the top. Fourth one will start the next row down at 20-80, 80-80, and 140-80. Now for our abilities, we're going to need to manually put these in. We'll first select the panel there, click an ability and add that in. That will put in the first ability, so we copy paste those into the others. And then we're going to, first one should be set, the second one, we're going to go down and change the position and the size. Well, the size would be the same. Change the position on these for each so that it points to the correct picture. This will be 384, and our non-ability currently 00. And that'll have this picture. For these here, we're going to set the visible false, because they're not used just yet. So the bottom 4 will have a false picture. It'll show up on the editor here when you're working in it, but it won't show up when it comes up on the display picture here. Then we'll be able to save and close the editor for that. Okay, Control G brings back our pictures. Next, we're going to open the script, B, exit window. And we're going to type in under option, B, ability window class methods, toggle ability window. And we'll comment the others out. This is the one we're going to work with currently. Okay, we compile and submit that. And then we're going to go to testing. Hit escape to bring up our main window. Hit the options to bring up our new window. It'll probably show in our upper left. We'll just slide that down. And left click won't do anything on the window here. Our right click should pop out a little picture. Now we click left or right when we're off the window here. So we can pick those up, and we should be able to put them in our bar down here. Pick any slot and right click. Should drop it right into the window there. Right now it's not checking to see if we have duplicates, so we can pretty much put anywhere. Now if we have nothing in the slot, it'll put it in. If we right click on it with nothing there, it'll do nothing. If we have one in there, it'll pick it up. It'll grab it. Now if we hover over another one and we right click it, it'll swap the two. So then, now for saving it, we'll be able to, we can click this window off and we can log out. It should have all these saved in there. Log back in, and our abilities are now saved in there. We can remove these if we want. Just clicking anywhere off of the bar will get rid of that. Log out, log back in. We now have these. Now for functions, like these here will have an invalid target, so we can hit tab to target our character for testing, and we left click it instead of right, and we should be, it still works here. We move it over there, and click it again. Oh, big hit, so we killed ourselves. And auto res currently. And we can click the other one, left click to use it, right click to lift it, put it in another place, and then left click it. And then same with this one here. This one will heal up if we've lost any damage, any health due to damage. And that's our ability window tutorial.